Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Brad Keller. I'm a documentation product consultant here at Component One, and I'll be guiding you through the presentation and training today. We're going to be talking about what's new in DISQUS 2012. First of all, I just kind of wanted to give you a basic overview of the standard workflow in DISQUS, talk a little bit about what DISQUS is and what it does. So DISQUS is a single source authoring and publishing tool that allows you to write new or use existing content and publish to a number of mobile, web-based, application-based, or print-based deliverables. What it says on the website, a lot of times what I'll tell people is that it takes the stuff that you have and allows you to manage and transform it into the stuff that you need. A lot of organizations and departments have a lot of stuff. They have help files in outdated formats. They have Word documents, employee manuals, user manuals, training guides, and those are usually Word documents that are spread across departments, or maybe they live on SharePoint, or maybe they live in a certain folder on the network. But usually it's a bunch of disparate documents that are spread across an organization or a department. What DISQUS helps you to do is to bring all of that content together, manage it in DISQUS, and then transform that content into the outputs that you need. Whether it be mobile outputs for field engineers that need to view the content on their device, web-based outputs to host the content on your knowledge base and your public website so users can search for the information that they need, application-based help to integrate the documentation into the application, and print-based for people who still like to print up the manual and thumb through the pages, put in post-it notes, dog-ear pages, things of that nature. And so this is an and situation. This isn't an either-or situation. You can create all of the different types of outputs that you need from your one set of source documents. And at the center of DISQUS lies your content. You can use DISQUS XML-based editor to write new content. This editor gives you all the design tools you need for an intuitive editing experience, while automatically creating XML-based source code under the hood. You can also create content using your favorite editor. DISQUS integrates seamlessly with Microsoft Word and all HTML editors, so you can use the one that you're most comfortable with. If you already have content, there's stuff that you already have, you can import it into DISQUS. Examples from our customer base include RoboHelp users converting their old projects, people with Word documents wanting to transform them into help or web content, and people with help files in outdated formats that need to convert to a more up-to-date format. Additionally, DISQUS can convert Word or HTML to its XML-based format. DISQUS is topics-based, which means that it takes the content in your source files and sorts it into individual topics for you. DISQUS then organizes the topics into a table of contents to make it easier for the user to find the information that they're looking for. Once the topics are created, DISQUS gives you the tools to manage the project elements. These elements include topics, topic relations, reusable content, and documents. All the items that DISQUS assembles into the outputs you need. DISQUS automatically creates a table of contents, index, glossary, formatting, style sheets, and templates, and gives you editors that makes it fast and easy to manage it all. You also get tools such as editing toolbars and a theme designer to ensure that your project is exactly the way that you want it. With the project where you want it to be, publishing is as easy as a few clicks. You select your output, click Build, and your content is published to any one of a number of quality formats. So again, there's your content there in the middle. That's the stuff that you have. You manage and customize that as necessary in DISQUS, and then you can publish that into as many of those outputs, the stuff that you need, on the right-hand side. Generally speaking, the user base consists of the following: help authors and technical writers that need to deliver quality user manuals and documentation for software or technical procedures, human resource professionals and operations managers tasked with getting their policies and procedures published to the company intranet, training and support professionals that need easily accessible documentation that is task-oriented and can be understood by a wide audience. DISQUS is represented in various departments throughout the world, from one person software shops to content developers working for multinational conglomerates. There's a DocHelp solution for every one and every company. The results are outstanding. You can offer your content in virtually any environment you want. This eliminates the learning curve. DocHelp users drastically save time. They edit content once and use it for multiple outputs. Changes don't need to be made in multiple places. You can use DocHelp to create every popular help format, professional printed manuals, including PDFs, mobile outputs, EPUB, as well as NetHelp, the industry's best web-based output in terms of design, accessibility of content, and customizability. Everything from the table of contents and the index to the look and feel of the output to the features you can deploy with the help is 100% customizable. You can take what comes out of the box, or you can customize it to your liking. So publishing content with DocHelp really is easy. You start with your newly authored or existing content. You select an output, click Build, and publish to the deliverable that you need. You can switch between outputs without reformatting or even touching the content. And that's sort of a visual representation. You've got your existing content or newly authored content there on the left-hand side. Manage everything in DocHelp, and once you have everything ready to go, select what you want to build it, and then publish to whatever you need there on the right-hand side. So talking about what's new, this was a very output-heavy release cycle, 2012. We had a lot of new outputs, and we have a lot of improvements to existing outputs. So we added an EPUB output, so that's a standard output to view on devices. It's like a manual, but it's searchable. So the EPUB extension, EPUB files are generally what you view using a Nook or generally an Android device. And EPUB is essentially an eBook. We actually created DocHelp's documentation as an EPUB, and you can get that on the Barnes & Noble store. MS Help Viewer 2.0 for Visual Studio developers. We added and improved a mobile output for mobile devices that's specifically geared towards smaller screens and optimized for touch screens. We added the Eclipse Help output for those that develop in the Eclipse environment. And we included the transformation widget for added functionality. We also made a number of unique improvements to NetHelp, and NetHelp is our web-based output. So we integrated NetHelp with Google Translate. We also included DISQUS integration for adding comments and rating topics, server-side search for faster, better results, set it up so that you can embed NetHelp into a web page for website assistance or documentation for a web application. And we added Chinese and Japanese configurations. And included in that is support for right-to-left languages. Then additionally, Microsoft was really busy in 2012, and so we added support for everything that they made available. So we added support for Windows 8, Word 2013, SharePoint 365, Team Foundation Server 2012, Internet Explorer 10, DISQUS 2012, and the EPUB 3.0 specification. And then these were just some general housekeeping enhancements that we made to the software. You no longer need to close Word to build your outputs. Long-time DocHelp users, that will probably be music to their ears. You can use Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, YouSendIt, basically any cloud-based storage system and sharing collaboration system that allows you to create a folder to store your files on your desktop. As long as DocuHelp can point to that folder, then it can synchronize with all of the documents that are in your cloud-based storage. One of the big things that we added in 2012 in version 2 is we added a new and improved theme designer for NetHelp. And that's more of a visual theme designer that I'll be showing you in the presentation. We're going to take a look at DocuHelp itself. The basic workflow that I discussed in the PowerPoint was that you probably have some documentation, or maybe you have an existing project where you use your documents, the content, the stuff that you have, to produce the stuff that you need. So for our situation today, I'm just going to go through a basic DocuHelp workflow where we already have some existing documents in a document library on SharePoint. If I click the New Project button, name it, stay with all the default settings. I'll choose the mobile output as my default target, but as we saw in the PowerPoint, it's really easy to switch between targets to build them. Going to import existing files from SharePoint. So to find those files on SharePoint, all I need to do is browse to the folder, the document library they're in. And then these are all auxiliary files. They're going to synchronize as well with my documents. These are screenshots. So now that I have content, as I mentioned in the PowerPoint, DocuHelp takes the content that's in my source files, breaks it down into individual topics, and then organizes those topics into a table of contents. So right now I don't have any topics. And those topics haven't been organized into a table of contents because I haven't built anything yet. So DocuHelp still needs to scan through everything and create my topics in my TOC. So all I need to do to have DocuHelp do that is I've got my mobile target. Just need to build that. And what DocuHelp's doing here is it's going to scan through the documents, break the content into individual topics, catalog everything for search, and then build basically the skin around the content that's in the document. Again, this is a heavy output release cycle. We added a number of new outputs, and we improved and integrated some different things into those outputs. So we'll be just taking a look at the mobile output first. And then you'll be sensing a theme because we can take a look at EPUB as well. So the mobile output usually looks a little bit better. If I minimize it a little bit here. So this is basically what it would look like on a device, and the computer that I have actually has a touchscreen. So I'm just going to take the mouse, put it over to the side, and just use the touchscreen functionality. So I can just tap on whatever topics I want to go to. And it does support swiping. But it doesn't always work on this screen. And the more links that DISQUS creates for me, all the images are automatically resized. Everything's cataloged for search. And it also supports phrasal search. And fuzzy search, just in case I misspell something. So all my links work. And I can always just navigate through the table of contents as well. That's one form of output that you can use on devices. Another form of output that you can use is the EPUB output. The mobile output can actually be installed locally on a device or a phone or a tablet, what have you. And then the user can browse to the content that's on there. All they would need to do is find the default.html file, and that's what launches the mobile output. That's the instructions for the mobile output. But generally speaking, our customers that have their documentation or whatever kind of content they have available for mobile devices and that they've published as a mobile output, they have that hosted on their website, on their public website or on an intranet that somebody with the device would have access to. So that device would need to have access to the internet either through Wi-Fi or through a data connection in order to view the content that's available for their mobile device. So the EPUB output actually works really well for offline viewing. Because it's a standard format. We support the new 3.0 structure, and it can be viewed from any device. So then this is the same content. We're just taking a look at it in a different viewer. And then so what you could do is you could take that EPUB file and give it to your engineers that need to view the content remotely on a device and they might not have a data connection or they might not have a connection to a Wi-Fi network. So they can use the EPUB to view that content when they're offline. And it's also a good way, as we did, to put your documentation and make it available to users that want to view the documentation on a Kindle or a Nook. So one of the things that I mentioned is that there were a number of specific NetHelp enhancements, but one of the biggest enhancements that we added is we made a number of improvements to our theme design. So if I create a new theme, there are a number of things that you can do to affect the look and feel of sort of your NetHelp skin. Okay, so one of the big things that you can do is you can change the style sheet. To change the color scheme. I personally like Redmond and Cupertino. Risto is the default theme, and Rocket's also pretty nice. So then you can use any one of the preloaded style sheets that we have, or you can click the Add Style Sheet button to create a new style sheet from the jQuery theme roller. So when we redesigned the theme designer, basically we wanted to make it as intuitive as possible. So what you see is what you get design. So whenever you click on any of the elements in your theme, the settings and things that you can control here on the right-hand side change in context to whatever you click on. So here you can change the topic icons in the closed book, open book. In the index, you can change whatever settings you need to change there. And in search, you can change the help message. So the help message currently says that you can use logical operations. But if you wanted to change that information or you wanted to add bold or italics to any of that, you could easily add that just by typing in HTML if you wanted to add section breaks or what have you. If you wanted to make this text bold. And if you click on the topic bar, you can change the icon for any specific button. Or you can add and remove buttons. So if you wanted to remove the Created with Dr. Help button, you just need to click on it and remove it. If you click in the header, you can add a logo image. and change the height of the header if you need to. So that the logo fits. This is also where you can control Section 508 compliance and whether or not the output is right to left. In order to configure the output, whether you want it to be right to left or left to right, what you could do is you could actually choose from an existing list. We already have a setting for Hebrew. And that moves everything right to left. And also translates all of our content and tooltips to Hebrew. And I have a document that is written in Hebrew. Or at least I used to have one. We do have actually a right to left sample. Shows the configuration and the translation. If you look here, you can see the Chinese configuration for NetHelp. And the Japanese configuration for NetHelp. This is our sample for Google Translate. So there's a way to embed this Google Translate button into your NetHelp theme, so that all you need to do is select your language, and it'll automatically be translated for you. Including all the tabs and the buttons. Then in the PowerPoint, I'd also mentioned that we integrated with DISQUS for user comments. This is our sample for that. You can also rate and like or dislike the comments or topics. And then as you can see here, we also added MS Help Viewer and Eclipse Help as outputs that you can build and publish. And we added the transformation wizard to NetHelp. So I click on Transformation Wizard. And insert custom code into the head element for metadata. Code into the beginning of the topic for a header or introduction to your topic, or I can insert code at the end of the topic for a footer. And then once I create this transform file, I can use it on any output that I want to use it on. As long as it's an HTML output, all I need to do is find the configuration file. There's my Hello World configuration file. So I can insert that header into the CHN. So now I've got a header on all of my topics. And again, I just put Hello World in there. You can put whatever information that you want to. As long as you're working with the HTML, you can include links, references, insert images, whatever you need to do. So in using the functionality, the core functionality of DocToHelp and the new outputs, we were able to take in these just simple Word documents. If I open up any of these are still a .doc file, still open up natively in Word. Add on the DocuHelp toolbar for added functionality. But I was able to take these documents, add them to my project, build all of my new outputs, customize the skin with the new theme designer, add in Google Translate for localization, and localized outputs, as well as DISQUS for commenting. Create my outputs for my devices or my development-specific environments. And all without, like I said in the PowerPoint, reformatting or even touching the content. So this is the stuff that I had. And then today, in a very short time frame, we were able to create the stuff that we need. So I'm going to put a link in here